Okay, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Welcome back to the second day of our short introductory course on Usul al-Tafsir. I think the first day was amazing, and you all had a great experience from the class, from the contents, from the excellent delivery of Ustad Faidan. And inshallah, we'll continue the same today. We'll probably read more of Arabic today. And I would like everybody to participate with questions, clarifications like you did yesterday. So I think it was an excellent interaction. And without interaction, learning doesn't happen. Learning is not a one-way lecture, you know. So if you have any questions and clarifications, feel free to ask Ustad Faidan, and inshallah I will stay in the background as I did yesterday. MashaAllah. Okay, tafadol, Ustad Faidan. Assalamu alaikum.
Okay. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu to everyone. Thanks for attending on day 2. So, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, alhamdulillahi rabbil alameen, wassalatu wassalamu ala sayyidina Muhammadin al-Mustafa al-Nabiy al-Ummi wa ala alihi wa sahbihi. So, today we had our introduction to Usul al-Tafsir, the Usul, the principles of how we do Quranic exegesis. We spoke about the idea of Tafsir coming from this word fassara, which is to uncover, to unveil, to allow the meanings of the Quran to shine forth. We said that, does anyone remember the 3 stages of Tafsir that we went through yesterday?
Yes.
Tafsir.
First, it is. Yes. Sure.
And
Sister
then.
Sadia, go ahead, please.
Oh, okay. Tafsir. Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Is it clear?
Yes.
Yes.
So tafsir within Quran, tafsir within the tafsir of the Quran, and then Sunnah of the Prophet, and then finally, if need clarity, we will go to the. We look into the Sahabas, the companions of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam.
Yes, mashallah, thank you. So in short, we can really understand tafsir as ultimately is tafsir al-Quran bil-Quran. That's the first stage. And then we said that the sunnah is not like, Quran and sunnah. Usually we say that, right? And we think they're 2 separate things here, but really the sunnah is sharihatun. That's what we read yesterday. The sunnah is explaining the Quran. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam is, al-Quranu yamshi. He's a walking Quran. He's part of the revelation. God is revealing meanings through him. All of his actions are a commentary on the Quran. So it's like the Quran is the center and the Sunnah is like the circle around the center. And in a sense, we can understand the idea of going to the reports of the Sahaba as part of the Sunnah. The Sahaba are continuing to explain what the Sunnah means. So Quran, Tafsir al-Quran bil-Quran, and the Sunnah. So that's where we are at the moment. But then we ended the last session speaking about, so what's the process of being inspired with meanings from the Quran? What does it mean when we read the Quran and we have meanings coming to us? We read it in different times and it's speaking to us in every single time. So that's inshallah what we're going to answer in this lesson. And this is where the Arabic language is going to become key. So I'm going to share the screen again. We're going to continue reading from the Itqan. Okay, Bismillah. So I believe everyone can see the Itqan now. So everyone, inshallah, will get a chance to read today. I'll just call names out according to the list I have over here. So beginning, Ustad Farhat, do you want to read this paragraph over here, which I've highlighted? It's from وَقَالَ بَعْضُهُمْ. You're muted.
Okay, sorry. Bismillah. وقال بعضهم التفسير في اصطلاح تفسير in terminology علم نزول الآيات وشؤونها وأقاصيصها والأسباب النازلة فيها ثم ترتيب مكيها ومدنيها ومحكمها ومتشابهها وناسخها وناسخها ومنسوخها وخاصها وعامها ومطلقها ومقيدها ومجملها ومفسرها وحلالها وحرامها ووعدها ووعيدها وأمرها ونهيها وعبرها وأمثالها.
So now this is very beautiful. What Imam Suyuti is saying, he's saying what وَقَالَ بَعْضُهُمْ. This is how some people have defined what tafsir is. In istilah is in like the scientific terminology, right? Because there's a linguistic, lughawi meaning of tafsir, which is to uncover, but we mean tafsir in a specific sense, which is to uncover the meanings of the Quran. So what is it? It's an ilm. Ilmu is the knowledge of, and all of this is going to be mudaf to ilm. Ilmu nuzul al-ayat is the knowledge of the revelation of ayat, wa shu'uniha wa aqasisiha, of the conditions, the events, the structures, the stories surrounding these ayat, the revelations of the verses. Wal asbab is ilmu wa ilmu al-asbabi an-nazilati fiha, and it's a science of have you heard of asbab al-nuzul?
Yeah.
This science of
Yeah, the reasons of revelation.
Yeah, the reasons of revelation, because there's usually some stories surrounding when certain verses are revealed in the life of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So that's part of tafsir. And then what's he also saying? ثم وعلم ترتيب مكيها ومدنيها. What's the Makki and the Madani? It's the surah, right? The Makki surah and the Madani surah. Which surahs are Meccan, which ones are Medinan, and the ordering. That's all part of tafsir. Now this is I mean, have you heard of the ideas of the muhkam and the mutashabih?
Yes, yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Maybe who wants to say what they understand by the muhkam and mutashabih? Maybe Ustada Aisha?
Muhkam is basically something that is accepted, that is certain, and mutashabihat, that is something you have I don't know how to explain this.
Vagueness.
Yeah, exactly. That's not clear in itself.
Yeah. So in tafsir, that's how we use these words. Now I'll come back to this. Let's continue to read because it's all related. This is easier. وَنَاسِخِهَا وَمَنْسُوخِهَا. So what's the fi'l over here?
Nasakha.
Nasakha. And the fa'il and the maf'ul. Nasakha, what are the meanings of nasakha?
Nasakha also means to copy and nullify, both.
Yeah. MashaAllah, yeah, there's two meanings. Because we say like nusakh as a copy of a thing, and nasakh, which is to cancel a thing, to nullify. So over here, it's which ayahs are nasikha of other ayahs, which are mansukh. Some ayahs like cancel the rulings of other ayahs, right? Like in the beginning, for example, alcohol wasn't made haram straight away immediately. First the ruling was you can't be drunken in prayer, and then the ruling was that you can't drink whatsoever. So there's a nasikh going on. The later ayah is a nasikh of this earlier ayah, which is mansukh. So that's part of tafsir. We have to know these things. And again, this is very this is like an istilahi. It's a particular scientific terminology. The khas and na'am. Can anyone translate the khas and na'am?
The particulars and the universals.
Yeah.
Is
Sorry.
Amma is general.
General, yeah. Again, I'll come back to this because there's two meanings here. There's going to be like the lughawi meaning, which is what the word means in the language itself, and then there's going to be the istilahi, like the scientific particular meaning that we mean in the ilm al-tafsir. Similar to this, the mutlaq and the muqayyid. Has anyone heard of these two terms?
No.
No.
No, these
No.
are already from Usul, like Usul al-Fiqh. If you study that, you'll come across them. Or Balagha. If you study Balagha, you'll have perhaps heard of these two terms. And that's why we're reading this paragraph, because a lot's going on here, a lot more than we think. And let's keep going. So these two terms were mujmaliha or mufassariha. It's the ilmu mujmaliha or mufassariha. So now we did these two terms yesterday, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Who wants to recap what we said, the mujmal and the mufassara?
Sister Aisha?
Go ahead.
Mujmal is to sum up and Mufassir is to explain.
Yeah, mashallah, it's exactly that. Ajmala is to summarize something, like you said. Because remember, yesterday we were saying that in some places there's going to be ijmal and ikhtisar. It's going to be summarized, condensed. In other places, there's going to be tafsir, there's going to be sharh, bast, expansion. So we know what these two means. In some places, there's going to be ijmal. Things are summarized. In other places, they're going to be explained, like the Quran says, aqimu salat. We know that we have to pray, but what's the kayfiyya? How do we pray? That's going to be explained in the Sunnah. That's where it's going to be mufassar, expanded, explained. So we know what these two things mean. And again, remember yesterday we spoke about the meanings of the abwab, of the different forms from sarf. Mujmal is from the form af'ala. Mufassar from the form fa'ala. Maybe Ustadha Sadia, do you remember the difference between these two forms, the meaning?
Yeah. So should I give with an example like we did yesterday?
Use an example, yeah.
So nazala is to come in stages, and anzala is to descend all at once. So is that what you're talking about, or am I wrong?
No, that's exactly it. And then that's a general meaning of this wazn, of this form. That fa'ala is always about stages happening bit by bit. Af'ala is just about happening at once. So for example, in allama, right, ta'allum, there's stages. Have you heard of tadarruj? Like there's darija, like levels. Tadarraja is to like ascend in levels. It's not just like arija, okay, ascended. No, tadarraja, to go in levels. So when you have this wazn, tafa'ul, there's going to be this meaning, a general meaning, like ta'allum. It's not just learning. The Arabic language is telling us learning, ta'allum, is always in stages. Usul, you have to begin with your usul, the first principles, and then you do ta'allum, tadarruj, ila the furu', to the branches from these roots. So this is part of the beauty of the Arabic language. And these are part of the ma'ani. And we're going to get to this. This is part of actually doing tafsir in the Quran. The Quran will say these things, and then we need to know the meanings of these words. Like the Quran says, when it speaks about the Torah and the Injil, it uses inzal, anzala. When it speaks of the Quran itself, it speaks of tanzil, nazzala. Why? Because the Injil and the Torah, they were revealed all at once. God revealed the entire book to Musa and Isa alayhima as-salam, whereas the Quran was revealed in stages. So this is very like it's a diqqa, right? There's a huge precision in the Arabic language. And as like a general principle of how to learn, this is very important to start to pay attention to. If you start to learn these meanings of the awzan of sarf, your Arabic will really skyrocket, inshallah. And it's just about picking it up over time. You won't be able to do all of it at once, but bit by bit, every single day, you can learn like one more meaning of the wazn. And then when you're presented with a new word that you don't know, for example, the muhkam and mutashabih, we haven't spoken of it yet, but we can use our knowledge of sarf now to actually understand what these two words mean, which is why we're going to come back to them. That's good for these, mujmal and the mufassar. And wa halaliha wa haramiha, we know what that means. It's about fiqh. Then the Quran is going to give us ahkam, rulings. In these rulings, something can be made halal, haram, jaiz, permissible, and so on, mubah, so on. Who knows the difference between the wa'd and wa'id? وَوَعْدِهَا وَوَعِيدِهَا.
Promised
Promise.
and being promised.
Sorry, repeat that again.
Is it promise? His
Wa'ad-
promise, her
wa'ad is
promise.
promise. Yeah, from wa'ada, to promise. What's about wa'id?
Something that is the promise that is done, like in transitive form.
The wa'id actually means threats. And
Okay.
remember which I think this I think it's aw'ada. I'll have to check this up, but there's two af'al. There's wa'ada, which is to promise, and I believe aw'ada means to threaten. So the wa'd is a promise, i.e. like the promises of Jannah.
Okay.
And the wa'id is the threat of Jahannam, of Yawm al-Qiyamah.
Okay.
وَأَمْرِهَا وَنَهْيِهَا. Again, fiqh. The Quran, amr to command, nahi to prohibit. وَعِبْرِهَا. Ibr is the jam' of which word?
Yeah, ibara.
Abara?
The jam' ibara is ibarat.
Oh,
Oh,
It's related from the same root. So ibr is from ibra.
Ibra?
with tamarbuta.
Yes, with a term marbuta, yeah. So an ibra is again a lesson, something we learn. Ibara is
Yeah, it's not. Yeah.
that's more about the a method of saying something to give a meaning. And that's actually one of the meanings of the form fi'ala. Fi'ala has a connotation of function, like khilafa, siyasa, riyasa, wilaya. All these things are like politics. It's a function you occupy to do things. So ibara is about the function of doing ta'bir.
Okay.
Whereas the form of fa'ala is about qualities like harara, hotness, and things like thakana, thickness, salada, hardness. So this is all part of, like I said, learning the meanings of the awzan. And it's something you pick up bit by bit. And when you do that, your Arabic will really improve, inshallah, to like the highest degrees. That's when you go from being an intermediate learner to an advanced learner of the Arabic language. That's where balagha comes in. And we're going to see this. So to pick up where we are, tafsir is also about the knowledge of ibar. Wa amthal. Amthal. What's amthal the plural of?
Mathal.
Misal.
So there's mathal and then there's mithal. And they're two related words. Who knows the difference between a mathal and a mithal? So
It's, I think, from the families. One is masala, one form, and misal is from jihad, that pattern.
yes, that's a good knowledge of sarf actually. What you're using there, that's what we're talking about, using the knowledge of sarf. So let's use that. So mathal is on the form fa'al. Mathal is something by which we do tamthil. Tamthil is to analogize. Mathala shay'an bi shay'in is to do mathala shay'an. We're making an analogy of this thing bi shay'in with another thing. So a mathal is an analogy. It's a metaphor, right? It's to use language to analogize. Mathal. Now a mithal is more general. And like you said, it comes from the form like jihad, fi'al. Fi'al is sometimes a masdar of fa'ala. Like jahada, yujahidu, jihadan.
Ustad Faidan, sorry to interrupt. Somebody is trying to log in.
Oh, yes.
If you would allow.
Actually, I'll disable the waiting room so anyone can join
Yeah.
now. Yeah. So mithal is more general. And the form fi'al has a general meaning of bringing things together. And I think you've all studied Sheikh Samurai's Tafsir al-Fatiha, right?
Yes.
Yeah,
Do you remember when you speak about sirat, you said sirat is on the wazn fi'al.
I don't remember.
He
We
says,
haven't come to
I
Sirat
don't.
ayah,
Yeah,
actually.
We haven't come to
I
that much yet.
oh, okay,
Yeah,
I'm
we
sorry for
haven't come
spoiling
to
it. Oh
that.
no, I'm spoiling the surprise.
Yeah.
Okay, inshallah, when you come to that part in the tafsir, you read it. But I'll speak about one meaning of fi'al, like this wasn't, is about bringing things together. So like you have aqala. Aqala originally means to bind something. Like aqala al-jamala bi-iqalin is to bind the camel, al-jamal, with iqal. Iqal is like, what's it called? Thing like the reins, the thing you use to rein an animal. So fi'al is about something which binds things together. So a mithal is about mathal, it's about comparing, analogizing, likening. So mithal is that thing which brings things together. So this is the way to think about it. And we're using all of this is coming from my knowledge of sarf. A mathal is like this. You have two things. I'm doing, mathala shay'an bi mathalin, right? The mathal is one
Okay.
thing like another, like mithluhu. The mithal is like it brings things together. This isn't mithal. A mithal isn't one thing which is like another thing. A mithal is this paradigm. It's like this general example. It's not a mathal is a specific example. A mithal is a general example which brings all these things together. Does that make sense, or should I clarify that more?
So as an example, if I
Can you give
say that the
say-
muscle of the example of a cat is a Persian cat, for example.
Yeah, that's a mathal.
That's a muscle. But if the misal would be that the cat belongs to the kingdom, the animal kingdom.
Or like the cat itself can be the mithal.
Okay, because that cat can be compared to any other cat.
Yeah, because all cats are cats.
They share that catness.
Yeah, exactly. So that's the
Okay.
difference. And again, this is like, subhanAllah, this is one of the real beauties of the Arabic language, that we have all this precision. And remember, so now we're saying that mithal is general and a mathal is like kind of specific, right?
Yeah.
And look how interconnected this is. That connects to the khas and the am. In the mithal, there's am, it's general. The mathal is khas. So again, that's just a bit to start for using to really understand these texts. Now, what's amazing is now the Imam is saying all of this is part of tafsir. So yesterday we had a picture of tafsir, right? Which is tafsir is to tafsir al-Quran bil Quran, and really then to understand the Sunnah as doing a commentary of the Quran. What about the meanings of the Quran? How do we access this? Like, these tafsir, like of Imam Samurai, of Imam Razi, all these tafsir. How's that fitting into it? Now, this is answering the question. And like us, when we read the Quran, we read Surah Al-Fatiha, and we have some inspiration. It speaks to us. We get some meaning from it. This is what's happening. It's the meanings of the Quran through the Arabic language. And this is the system. These are the usul of how we communicate these meanings, of how we do the tafsir, how we uncover the meanings of the Quran. Do you see this? Yesterday we had like a small picture of tafsir. Now today we have a big picture.
Yeah.
So let's go back to some of these words. Let's speak about this, the muhkam and the mutashabih. So let me ask Ustada Aisha. So the muhkam, can you use your sarf to analyze this word? Muhkam, yeah. So what's the form? What's the fi'l?
Maf'ul.
It's the maf'ul of af'ala, right? أفعل is the مفعل is the فاعل and مفعل is the مفعول. So what's the fi'l here?
حكم.
أحكم.
Oh, أحكم, yeah.
أحكم أفعل أحكم. Now what does أحكم mean? Do you know? Has anyone heard of أحكم, this fi'l?
Rulings?
So this is very interesting. You would think it means ruling, but remember yesterday we said there's going to be an usul to the word. And it's usually not what we think it is. Like the usul of ilm isn't knowledge, it's signs. Because knowledge is about knowing signs from yesterday. So, so in the meaning of hakama, there's an idea of ruling.
Is it wisdom?
That's related, but that's still not the usul. The usul of hakama, and you have to go into like lisan al-Arab to get this, means to prevent. We say hakamtu shakhsan an shay'in, to prevent someone from doing something. How is the idea of a ruling and wisdom related to this? So there's an example like ahkamtu ash-shay'. That means like ahkamtuhu, I made it prevent. Ja'altuhu yahkumu. So let's say there's like a peg, right? If you do ihkam, like ahkamtu hadha, so I've made this thing yahkumu, prevent. What that means is if I try to knock it down, this thing prevents yahkamu. It prevents it from disturbing it. So ahkama means to make something hakim, to make something firm and established. That's the meaning of hakama. To be firm and established. Then the idea of wisdom, hikmah, is to know the places of things. Because if you put something in its place, it's going to be firm. If you don't, it's going to be loose and it will come undone. Like if you try to peg a tent in sand, it's not going to work because sand is too soft. There's no hikam. You haven't put it in the right place. When you put it in the soil of the right texture, not too hard or not too soft, that's the right place of it, and it will stay in its place. That's
Stability.
Sorry?
I mean stability with it. It will come with.
Yeah. So muhkam something. Is it a question from Ustada Mamira?
Yeah, just thinking about what you just said. Is it, the dua of Ibrahim alayhi salam when he says, Rabbi habli hukman wa alhiqni bis salihin, like hukman. So it'll still go back to the same root, like establish me.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, cool. Thank you.
And this idea of like, we might think of a hukm as a ruling because a ruling is established. That's what's ruling, a law. It's established. And not only is it established, but it establishes. It's firm and it makes you firm. So like Yasin wal Quran al Hakim. Hakim is on the form fa'il. Fa'il can have the meaning of the fa'il and also the maf'ul. So it can be the fa'il of hakuma, which means to be wise. Lahu hikmah. In that meaning, Hakim means wise, the wise Quran. Or Hakim could be in the maf'ul of ahkama, muhkam, the established Quran. Or muhkim, the Quran which establishes. In the meaning of Hakim, you have all these things. All these meanings are there. So the muhkam of the Quran are those ayat which are established. And that's where I think it was Ustada Atika, right? Or Ustadi, I can't remember. You said that the muhkam is that which has a clear meaning.
Yeah.
And the mutashabih, we're saying, is something which has, it's not
Vagueness, uncertain.
Yeah.
Vagueness.
Vagueness. It needs the muhkam to clarify it. Now let's do some sarf on mutashabih. What's the original meaning of tashabaha? Mutashabih, the fa'il of tashabaha. Who knows what tashabaha means?
Two things that have similarity between them. So that will be mutashabiha.
Yes. mashallah, because tafa'ala is like, it's fa'ala, but inside of itself. Fa'ala ba'duhu ba'dan. That's tafa'ala. By amala. Amala means to like deal with someone, right? We say amaltu shakhsan. I dealt with him. But then if we're both doing it, amaltuhu wa huwa yu'amiluni. فَنَحْنُ نَتَعَامَلُ مَعًا. Amala is going one way, ta'amul is going in both directions. So shabaha means to resemble. Shabaha shay'an, to resemble something. Tashabaha is for two things to resemble each other in both directions. So the mutashabihat of the Quran are those ayat which resemble each other. So we have to go back to the asl meaning of mutashabih. The asl isn't vagueness, it's resembling. But that's where the meaning of vagueness comes from. Because if you have something and it's mutashabih, ba'dahu yushabihu ba'dan. Each part is resembling the other. For example, I have two hands. If both my hands are exactly the same, they're mutashabihatan. Then will you be able to say which one is which is right and which is left?
No.
No.
So it's vague, right? That's where the idea of vagueness comes from. You can't do tafriqa.
So it's vague for us because we cannot differentiate, but it's not vague for the person who has the hands.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And then so you need a reference point. For me, I know which one is which because I am the reference points. Those reference points, those are the muhkamat. Muhkam, established, is the reference. So the muhkam is like the center of a circle. It's the origin point, right? And the mutashabih, those are like the things around the center, and we're going to go to the mutashabih from the muhkam. So that's what he's saying, how the Quran works. And this is from the Quran, from Surah, I believe, Al Imran. where God says that it was revealed in the Quran, some ayat muhkamat and some mutashabihat. The muhkamat are the reference points from which we understand the mutashabihat. And the example, actually, maybe someone knows an example of this, of a muhkam and a mutashabih.
A mutashabih could be the most merciful rose over the throne, istawa ala al-arsh, right? So how did God do that? That's part of the scholar's job to discern.
Yeah.
And a muhkam could be don't drink alcohol, don't eat pig. That's clear.
It's clear. There's no vagueness. Now, so if you take this example, istawa ala al-arsh, ar-Rahman istawa ala al-arsh, is mutashabih, a vagueness, an ambiguity, because we can't understand this verse through this verse itself. This is tafsir al-Quran bil-Quran. Sometimes you have to understand a verse in the Quran, you have to go to another verse. What does istiwa mean? Does istiwa mean sitting like a human being sits? Well, let's go to a muhkam verse here. It's going to be laysa kamithlihi shay'. There is nothing like him. Muhkam. Right? La ilaha illallah. Muhkam. You know that. So this helps us understand this. So istiwa is not a physical sitting. Because this verse is mutashabih, we're going to understand this verse from the center, which is the muhkam, laysa kamithlihi shay'. So we know that it's true that God it has istiwa upon the arsh, but that istiwa is not a physical one; it's a non-physical one, because we know this from the muhkam. So do you see that's how the Quran is going to work? How tafsir is tafsir al-Quran bil-Quran, from the muhkamat to the mutashabihat.
So I have a question. So basically all mutashabiha verses will eventually go back to the muhkam verses, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
And the same root letters, sawaha, is also used for the soul, nafs.
Yeah. taswiya, sawwa, right? To form and shape.
Yeah, yeah. The root letters, yeah. The family is different, but the root letters.
Yeah. Yeah, the root meaning, I think, is sawiya, yaswa, which is to be equal, to be level with another thing. Musawahu, to be equal to it. So tasawa and istawa means to become equal in itself. Remember, we said if ta'ala, like ghasala is to wash something. Ightasala is to wash yourself. The ta, right? Fa'altu, ana, fa'altu. If ta'ala, the ta is like yourself. It's not just fa'ala, if ta'ala, he did the fi'l to himself. So istawa is to make oneself equal, level. And that's why the asl isn't sitting. And this helps us understand that. That's secondary. The asl meaning is to become level. Now, if we continue with this, now we understand these things. And it's also about the khas and the am, and the mutlaq and the muqayyid. So I won't go into these things too much, but these are words from usul. And it's called, usul al-fiqh. Have you all heard of this science?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, fiqh, which is considered ahkam, what's halal, what's haram, what are the different legal rulings for things. Usul al-fiqh is going to be just like usul al-tafsir. How are we doing fiqh? Where are these rulings coming from? And if you study usul al-fiqh, really it's all about lugha. Lugha is the heart of it. It's all about language. Because we have the Quran, we have the ahadith. These are Arabic things in the Arabic language. So usul is all about knowing how does the Arabic language convey meanings. And that's exactly what's going on here. So really usul al-tafsir and usul al-fiqh are actually almost the same thing, if not the same thing. The usul of Islam are really the usul al-lugha, the usul of the Arabic language. Then we have the other sciences like logic, which come from this. But do you see how the Arabic language lies at the center of this? So I won't go into this too much. Inshallah, if you're interested, maybe you could do another class on what these terms mean. But for now, let's say that some terms are specific, khas, some are am. Like I said, the mathal is khas, mithal is am. The mutlaq, again, muf'al, like mujmal, muhkam. You see how all these, it's all connected. Mufassar, muqayyad, they're both mufa'al. Because mutlaq is to release all at once. Qayyada is to bind something, because there's stages, parts to it. Mutlaq, there's no parts. Muqayyad, there are parts. So a mutlaq is something without relations. A muqayyad is something which has been done qayd, like qayyida, with relationships. Like in the Quran, in some places it says to free a slave.
Fakku
raqaba. And other parts is fakku raqabatin mu'minatin. Right? Not just to free a slave, to free a believing slave. So that's mutlaq is raqaba, any raqaba. Like which raqaba, which person, any. Then raqabatin mu'minatin, that's muqayyad. Which raqaba? The mu'min raqaba. So that's how the mutlaq and the muqayyad is working. And it's about, again, similar to mujmal and mufassar. Raqaba is general, am. Raqaba mu'mina, khas, specific, muqayyad, mufassar. So we'll move on to the next page now. Are there any questions about
I have a question about the word mutlaq.
Yeah.
Is it related to maf'ul mutlaq?
Yeah, actually it is. Because we have mafa'il, the objects of a verb. There's many different types, as you know, like the maf'ul bihi, the direct object, the maf'ul lahu, the reason, the maf'ul fihi, the space and the time. The maf'ul mutlaq. A mutlaq means unrestricted. It's a maf'ul without any restriction of time, of space, of person. Because that's what, like the maf'ul lahu is the maf'ul which has been muqayyad by a reason. Like another word is maf'ulun min ajlihi. The ajl, the purpose, the sabab, is doing taqyeed of the maf'ul. Al-maf'ul fihi, makan and zaman are doing taqyeed of this maf'ul. Maf'ul bihi, like the person or the thing, the bihi is doing taqyeed of the maf'ul. The maf'ul mutlaq, there's no taqyeed. If I say fa'altu fi'lan, fi'lan is a maf'ul mutlaq, right?
Yes.
What's it saying? Is it doing any taqyeed? Is when I say, like, if I say fa'altu dhalika, or let's say this, let's say a'ataytu, I gave, a'ataytu shay'an. Shay'an is the maf'ulun bihi. I'm doing taqyeed of the i'ta with the thing. Do you guys see this? Muqayyid. A'ataytu shay'an, or ash-shay', I gave a specific thing. If I say a'ataytu i'ta'an or ata'an,
More generalized.
it's the maf'ul mutlaq. There's no taqyeed
Or
going.
like shakartu shukran, unrestricted, limitless.
Yeah. I'm not doing any, am I saying how I did it or what I did it with or whom I did it to? No, it's mutlaq. Shakartu shukran. If I just say, shakartu, the meaning is mutlaq. I thanked. Who did I thank? How did I thank them? When did I thank them? Why did I thank them? In what place did I thank them? All these things are doing taqyeed of the fi'l of shukr. When I say shakartu shukran, shukran is mutlaq. There's no taqyeed going on. It's still part of the fi'l. Right? Does everyone see that?
Mhm.
Yes.
Okay. So this is like a brief overview of tafsir and all the parts of tafsir and how it's going on. And we're seeing that the common thread is lugha, the Arabic language. Now, I'm going to read from here. And these are going to be the shurut. Remember, this chapter is ma'rifati shurut al-mufassiri wa adabihi. What are the conditions for someone to be a mufassir of the Quran, to do tafsir of the Quran? So we're going to do some more reading. Okay, I think we got to Ustadha Aisha. Do you want to read from here? Ahaduha.
Ahaduha, one of them, al-lugha, language. لأن بها يعرف شرح المفردات الألفاظ. لأن بها, because in it the explanation of the singular.
Or we can say words, mufradat al-alfaz. Because lafz just in general just means expression. A lafz can be, usually we say lafz for one word, but lafz just means anything you speak. So that's why mufradat al-alfaz, the words. The sharh mufradat al-alfaz.
Okay, sharh of the words. ومدلولتها مدلولتها بحسب الوضع.
The madlul, what's the fi'l? Madlul. Anyone else can jump in as well. Madlul. What's the fi'l here?
دلل.
Dalla. To indicate.
Dalla.
Dalla ala shay'in. So the madlul is the thing being indicated upon, i.e. meanings. Al-alfadhu tudullu ala ma'ani. So madlulat are the ma'ani. Lugha. By lugha, we see the words and we go to the ma'ani. That's tafsir, as we said. That's what tafsir is, to uncover. Lugha uncovers the alfaz, the outward meaning, the outward aspects of the forms of words, to know the meanings behind them. Alhamdu, that's a sound, or alhamdu written on a piece of paper. Alfaz, symbols. So remember, ilm, we go from the symbol to the ma'na, to the meaning behind the symbol. Lugha is the connection between symbols and meanings. That's why lugha is everything. That is the asl. بحسب الوضع, according to its position. because it's context, nazam, like there's ordering sequences to the mufradat. So it's not just knowing what does hamd mean, what does lillahi mean, but alhamdu lillahi, what's the ordering mean, mubtada khabar and so on. قال مجاهد لا
قال مجاهد لا يحل لأحد يؤمن بالله واليوم الآخر أن يتكلم في كتاب الله. It's not proper for everyone
for any
everyone who believes in Allah and Yawm al-Akhir
Yep.
to speak about the Kitabullah
إذا
إذا لم يكن عالما بلغات العرب. If he
بلغات
is
العرب.
not a scholar according to the native Arabs.
Yeah, عالما بلغات العرب. He needs to be, he know, be an expert. يعلم the knowledge, the Arabic language. That's what they mean. Remember, ilm. You see the beauty. Ilm is knowing the signs. That's what ilm is. So to be aliman in the lugha is to know the meanings behind the signs. Alhamd, I hear that and I know the ma'na. وتقدم
وتقدم قول الإمام مالك في ذلك. And he presents the sayings of Imam Malik.
الإمام مالك, so that's the fa'il, and تقدم, so to have gone before.
Yeah.
تأخر means to be afterwards, تقدم means to be before. So
Yeah.
Imam, in the book, the saying of Imam Malik upon this has come before. ولا يكفي
ولا يكفي في حقه معرفة اليسير منها. And it's not enough for him. What is yasir?
the easy, like knowing the easy Arabic language, that's not enough. لا يكفي.
Okay.
Right? You have to know all of the Arabic language, be real experts in it.
Okay.
فقد يكون
فقد يكون اللفظ مشتركا. So the wording can be
مشترك. What's do the صرف? What's the فعل?
شارك اشترك.
اشترك. المشترك is the
that is shared
it's the مفعول به.
or agreed upon.
اشترك is افتعل. شركة is to share. اشترك is to be shared, to share for yourself, to share yourself. Mushtarak, something which is shared in itself, that is, it's a lafz which shares itself for different meanings. A lafz, a word with multiple meanings.
Okay.
Say, وهو يعلم أحد المعنى.
وهو يعلم أحد المعنى, and he knows about different meanings.
One meaning.
Multiple meanings.
ويعلم أحد المعنيين. He knows one of the two meanings.
One of the two meanings. والمراد الآخر.
Right? Usually there's multiple meanings to words. Like we saw, like hukm. There's many meanings to that. When the Quran says, wal Quran al-Hakim, you might have one idea, you know that Hakim means wise, but maybe the intention is Hakim as muhkam. That's another meaning of it. So you can't just know the yasir, the easy meanings. You need to know all the meanings. Nice, thank you, Ustad Aisha. Let's move to Ustad Sadia from Athani.
الثاني أنه لأن المعني يتغير ويختلف باختلاف الإعراب. That the meaning changes.
Yeah, المعنى يتغير. The meaning changes. ويختلف changes.
Change باختلاف الإعراب. Change differences of the era.
Yeah, the i'rab changes the meaning. The ma'na is related to the mabna, to the form. That's what Nahu is doing. And Shaykh Samurai has a book called Ma'ani and Nahu. You have Nahu. Nahu teaches you, what is mubtada, what's the khabar, what are the different ways. Like in Nahu, you learn that you can have the khabar is usually mutaakhir, right? It comes after. But you can have al-khabr al-muqaddam. Al-khabr alladhi quddima is brought forward. That's what Nahu teaches you. How is it ma'na to that? And that's what you won't get in Nahu.
Change.
And in Ma'ani and Nahu, you learn the meanings behind the different forms of Nahu. Continue from here. فلا بد
فلا بد من اعتبار أخرج أبو عبيد أن الحسن أنه سئل
yeah سئل
أن الرجال يتعلم العربية يلتمس بها حسن المنطق
حسن المنطق يقيم بها
قراءته فقال حسن تعلمها فإن الرجال يقرأ آياتي فيها بوجهها فيه.
This is hard. So it's for ya, it's ayya, yeah. It's a hard verb. It means to be tired or to be exhausted, capable.
How do you say it, sir?
Ya, ayya, fa'ila, ayya, ya. For
Can you repeat that word again, Ustaz? How did you pronounce that?
Ya. So the jazr here is ain, ya. The fa'ila, yaf'alu. So it's going to be ayya, ya.
Okay.
Yeah, Fahim has put it in the chat.
Yeah.
So he's saying that the Nahu, we need to know that. Why? Because it's part of Lugha that there's going to be different i'rab, like different, it can be I say marfu', mansub, majroor. There's different meanings to all these things. So we need to take it into considerations. i'tibarihi. And Hassan was asked about a person who was learning يتعلم العربية, and he sought therein حسن المنطق. He wasn't just studying Arabic. He wanted the perfection, ihsan, husn of speech. So for ويقيم بها قراءته, so he can really يقيم, he can make his qira'ah of the Quran qayyim, upright, mustaqim, firm, straight, accurate, perfect. And Hassan said, or حسن تعلمها, said that learning her is hasan, is good, beautiful, morally good. Because for inna rajula yaqra'u al-ayata faya'ya, because some people might read an ayah and they falter biwajhiha, the outward surface, the wajh. They see the ayah at the wajh, but they don't have the knowledge of Arabic to go deeper and to know the meaning. And so they might misinterpret the meaning. فَيَهْلُكُوا فِيهَا, so they are destroyed because of that. So that's again goes back to the idea of, to do tafsir, we need to master the Arabic language. Shukran, Ustad said it.
What would this fayahliku? What does that mean? Fayahliku.
Halak means destruction.
Okay.
Fayahliku. So the person ar-rajulu fayahliku fiha. So because al-fa'u sababiyya, because he's read this ayah and faya'ya biwajhiha, and he's faulted in understanding it.
Okay.
Because of that, yahluku. He's destroyed because of that. Okay, next is Ustad Atika. Do you want to read from Al-Thalith?
Right now, I'm in a car. I'm going home. So, inshallah, afterwards.
No worries. We'll move to Ustad Zahra then.
الثالث التشريف لأن به تعرف الأبنية والصيغ. So third is tasrif because he knows.
لأن به تعرف. تصريف الصرف.
Right.
صرف تصريف لأن به with صرف تعرف الأبنية والصيغ, forms of things. Remember, that's what we've been doing today, like محكم مفعل, مجمل مفعل, Mufassar, mufa'al. They're knowing the forms, the awzan of sarf, and knowing them, the meanings behind them as well. It's all part of it. Then what does Qala ibn Faris?
ومن فات علمه فات المعزم.
This is very, very important. وَمَنْ فَاتَهُ عِلْمُهُ. Fata means to, fatahu, like, it's lost on him.
Forget.
He hasn't learnt it in the first place. مَنْ فَاتَهُ عِلْمُهُ. عِلْمُ صَرْف. Whoever doesn't know sarf, fatahu al-mu'adham. Mu'adham means the most of it. Not most of what? You see, it's mutlaq. He hasn't said most of what, he said most of everything. It's balagha. He's saying that if you haven't studied sarf, most of knowledge, most of the Arabic language has been lost on you. So this is very important for us as students of Arabic language, because this is saying that sarf is really the key. We have to begin with sarf. I have to master sarf. That's the most mu'adham al-Arabiyyati of sarf. And if you really perfect your sarf, it makes everything so much easier. And that's the asl, the foundation of the Arabic language. Okay, do you want to read this? لأن
لأن وجد مثلا كلمة مبهمة because he finds examples of the words. I don't know what
مثلا is like, for example, لأن, because, for example, like wujida, he's in brackets, like you can add it, you don't need it. It's saying like there might be wujida kalimatun mubhama or kalimatan mubhama, depending if you have the wujda or not. Yeah, a word, mubham. What does mubham remind you of?
Vagueness.
Vague, yeah.
Yeah, again, mubham, like mujmal. You see, it's all on the form of al. It's being compacted together. So there might be a vague word, and then فإذا
فإذا صرفناها اتضحت بمصادرها.
Yeah, this is very amazing again. This is really powerful for us. فإذا, do you know how to translate this?
Um,
It's a bit hard. I'll help you. So فإذا صرفناها, so تصريف. If we do sarf of this word, remember, like yesterday we saw the idea of صرف الآية إلى معناها. Sarf means to take something, to bend it, to return it. If we take this difficult word and we do sarf, we return it down to its masdar. فصرفناها اتضحت, like from وضح, افتعل اتضح. The masdar, the root meaning of the word becomes clear. This is exactly what we've been doing yesterday and today. We've been doing sarf of words, like we had muhkam. What does muhkam mean? What does mutashabih mean? Sarrafnahu, with its tasrif. We took the words, we analyzed the form, we said what's the jidr, and then we went back down to that, and then with the masdar of like hukm as establishment, we understood muhkam as that which is established. Mutashabih, the masdar is shabah or shabaha, resembling. Mutashabih, something which is resembling each other, so vague. This is all part of tasrif. I'll read. Oh, no, you can read this, Ohra.
وقال زمخشري من بديع التفسير قول من قال
من بدع التفسير.
Okay.
قول من قال
إن الإمام في قوله تعالى يوم ندعو كل أناس بإمامهم.
Yeah. They're saying that the word imam in this verse of the Quran, يوم ندعو كل أناس بإمامهم. We call each people, unas is one of the jam of insan. There's like nas is the big plural. Nas is all of humanity together. Unas are groups of humans. You have insan, unas, groups, then nas altogether is everyone. They're saying jam'u you want to continue here?
جمع وأن الناس يدعون يوم القيامة بأمهاتهم أمهاتهم.
Yeah.
قال وهذا غلط أو
أوجب
جهله بالتصريف فإن أما لا تجمع على إمام.
So this is very interesting. He's saying that some people took this verse and they said that يوم ندعو كل أناس بإمامهم. They thought that imam was the jam of the plural of mother. So they think this meant that on the day of judgment, everyone will be called by their mothers. So وهذا غلط أوجبه جهله. أوجه جهله is جملة الصفة. It's a jumla which is doing a sifa of ghalat. This is a mistake which أوجبه جهله, they're ignorant of sarf, جهله بالتصريف, أوجب هذا الغلط, made this, caused this ghalat. Because is not made plural on imam. Right, like the plural of is ummuhat, not imam. Imam is leader, right?
Right.
That's part of sarf, knowing the mufrad, the forms.
Excuse me, Ustaz, can you please explain this para again?
So he's saying that some people made a mistake because they didn't know sarf. Because they didn't know sarf, they thought that imam in this verse is a plural of They thought that imam is the jam of
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they made a mistake here. And he's saying they made a mistake because they hadn't studied sarf. So he's saying this is the importance of knowing sarf. As to this, what did he say? Like Hassan said that, for yahluku, this is how, yahluk, they're going to destroy themselves because they don't know the meanings. I think there's a question from Ustad Mamira.
No, it's not a question. Excuse me. It's just that I find it so profound because we grew up with this concept, which Zamakhshari is mentioning about being called by mothers. But like now I know the reason that, subhanAllah, that they understood the sarf and changed it from imam to ummahat, like from imam to So it's really amazing. Jazakallah khair.
Yeah, subhanAllah. I think I heard this at some point as well. And it's amazing. So he's saying that's the mistake here. So this is really the importance of sarf and Arabic language. And we're reading this now because these are the shurut. Imam Suyuti saying, how does someone become a mufassir? And we see it's all about knowledge of the Arabic language. That's what tafsir is. Now let's continue here. Al-Rabi'. I think we got to you actually, Ustad in the mirror, right? Do you want to read Al-Rabi'?
I'll try to read. I've got a very bad throat infection, so I'll try to read. Bismillah. So الرابع الاشتقاق لأن الاسم إذا كان اشتقاق من من مادتين مختلفتين اختلف المعاني. Sorry.
No worries.
باختلافهما كالمسيح هل هو من سياحة أو المسح.
Yeah.
So it's a question.
So ishtiqaq is in English is etymology, the science of knowing the root of words.
Yeah, because
like sarf, bringing things back to the jithr, the roots.
Yeah.
You want to translate this?
Because the ism, when it is etymologized, ishtiqaqat, Mim maddatayni, from its madda means like root, is it?
Yeah, madda means matter, like the matter, the material.
Matter, yeah. Mukhtalifaini, from different matters.
Yeah,
Is that correct?
Yeah, from two different like roots, basically. ثم اختلف المعنى.
اختلف المعنى. So there is a اختلاف in the meaning.
Yeah.
Like there is a
Exactly.
باختلافهما, from the اختلاف of both of them.
Of the roots of a maddatayni.
مادتين كالمسيح. And what does that mean? كالمسيح.
So he's saying that if there's two different maddas, like two different roots, and he's going to give an example.
Yeah, like مسيح هل هو من سياحة or المسيح.
Yes. Masih.
Sorry, carry on.
Like it's like the muf'al of siyaha, like the root is sin yaha, and the meme is going to be like added from sarf, or it might be that this is fa'il from masaha, and the meaning is going to change depending on which one it is.
Yeah.
So that's what he's saying here. So ishtiqaq is part of that. I think masaha means to rub, cover. So al-masih means that who is anointed or anoints. I think there's part of I can't remember exactly, but some type of baptism or something was part of the Sharia before Islam. It's part of can't remember the story exactly, but that's one meaning of Masih. For Isa alayhi salam, he's the Masih, the Messiah. That Messiah comes from this word Masih, or it could be from Siyaha. What does Saha mean again? Actually, yeah, it means to flow, to wander. I'm not sure what Masih would mean here. Actually, maybe he who has wandered, or something like that. But as we can see, the different roots are going to give rise to meanings. So that's ishtiqaq, etymology. Okay. We'll read the whole thing here, maybe just the first paragraph over here of Khamis and Sadis and Sabi'. Who was next? Ustad Atika, have you read?
She'll do it later.
Okay.
Can Alina do it for now?
Oh, you joined us, Nina. Assalamu alaikum.
Oh, she's not here.
Oh. Who's next?
Okay, yeah, I can try. From where? Khamis or Sadis?
Yeah, just this paragraph here.
Okay. والخامس السادس والسابع, fifth, sixth, and seventh. المعاني والبيان والبديع, the meaning and clarification. بديع, can it be from start?
So this is balagha. The three sciences of balagha are ilm al-ma'ani, ilm al-bayan, and ilm al-badi'.
Okay. لأنه because يعرف بالأول خواص تراكيب الكلام. So knowing by the one, it's specific in
You're saying
of the
ilm al-ma'ani. بالأولي بالعلم المعاني, what do we know? خواص.
it's special in arrangement of the words.
Yeah, this is very technical. You're saying the خواص تراكيب الكلام من جهة إفادتها المعنى. He's saying that basically the tarkib, like the arrangement of words of the mufradat, gives rise to different meanings, like we said. Like, khabar al-mu'akhar al-khabar al-muqaddam. If you say al-rajulu fil bayt or fil bayti al-rajulu, there's different arrangements. These different arrangements give rise to different meanings. That's ilm al-ma'ani, which is the same thing as ma'ani and nahu. Shaykh Samurai wrote a book on that, and in his surah or Tafsir Surah Al-Fatiha, which you're reading, he's using this thing. He'll do the sharh of Alhamdulillahi, and what the meanings of this are based upon Ma'ani and Nahu. And what about وبالثاني? So
وبالثاني خواصها من حيث اختلافها بحسب وضوح الدلالة وخفائها. And second is this specific where the اختلاف is done according to the places, the indicated places and hidden places, hiding something. خفائها.
yeah, about dalala, the hidden apparentness and hiddenness of dalala. So that's ilm bayan. What's that doing? Bayan is about clarification, right? What's the bayan doing? It's about knowing the khawas are the specifics, all the particulars, the details of how things will, the ikhtilaf of ma'ani, how meanings will differ according to the dalala of words. Like sometimes dalala is wadih, wadiha, clear. Sometimes there's a khafa, it's khafiyya, it's hidden. For example, like metaphors are like more hidden. If you say like, you know, huwa asadun, he is a lion. As you know, it could mean like, oh, that's literally a lion there. Like that thing is a lion. Or you could say like Zaydun huwa asad, like Zayd is a lion in the sense of his shuja'a, his bravery and courage and his strength is like a lion. So that's akhfa, it's more hidden. So that's what ilm al-bayan is all about, knowing the different ways of using words. You can use words in the literal wadih meaning, or they have a khafi, hidden meaning, which you can use them in. That's what ilm al-bayan is doing. وبالثالث, that's ilm al-badi'. Do you want to read this?
Yeah, وبالثالث وجوه تحسين الكلام, and the third is indicating in the tahsin manner like beauty of the words.
Yeah, تحسن يحسن, how to make the kalam beautiful. Tahsin, beautification. And yeah,
then should I carry on? هذه العلوم, these sciences الثالثة, third هي علوم البلاغة, and these sciences and these three sciences are in the science of balagha.
Here علوم البلاغة, like they constitute the science of balagha. Balagha is these three sciences. And read this.
وهي من أعظم أركان مفسر, and these are the most major of the arkan of for the mufassir.
Yeah, amazing thing. أعظم أركان المفسر. The most important thing.
The most major.
Is balagha. Balagha is the height of the Arabic language. After you master sarf and nahu, balagha is what we all need to study, inshallah. And that's what really makes one a mufassir. That's when you really know the Arabic language. لأنه
لا بد له من مراعاة ما يقتضي الإعجاز، وإنما يدرك بهذه العلوم.
Yeah. So we must لا بد له. We must take the balagha into consideration. من مراعاة ما يقتضيه الإعجاز. Mura'at means to pay attention to consider, to take into account. رَاعَاهُ فَعْلَهُ. ما اقتضى means to entail. Right? It's افتعل, doing qada, it's like decreeing within itself. اقتضى قضى من نفسه. That's the meaning. That because إعجاز, the linguistic miracle of the Quran, يقتضي some things. It leads towards, it entails like certain rules and structures. وإنما يدرك بهذه العلوم. It's only with the sciences of balagha that the highest level of the Arabic miracle of the Quran is known. Yeah, I think we'll move on to these last few ones now. So who's next to read? Has anyone not read so far?
I think we've all read, the ones who can.
I
Okay.
think there's Brother Saeed.
Brother Saeed, assalamu alaikum.
Yeah, walaikum salam, brother. Just joined, so wanted to watch for a couple of days and then pick up slowly.
Okay. No worries. Do you want to give one line a shot, or?
I never tried it, so I might just practice a little bit later and then try it.
Yeah, okay. We'll
Ustad
move.
Fahim can try.
Sheikh Fahim.
No. I don't want to meddle in now.
Okay.
Yes.
We'll take a volunteer then. There's only a few lines left.
Okay. الثامن علم القراءات لأن به يعرف كيفية النطق بالقرآن وبالقراءات يترجح بعض الوجوه المحتملة على بعض.
Yeah, so the science of qira'at, of Quranic recitation, the different qira'at, right?
Yeah.
Why? Because?
Because with them we know the how of the not of the Quran, how to pronunciations, I suppose. The various styles of reciting the Quran.
Speech of the.
I think like kayfiyya is from kayf, like how, the quality.
How?
Yeah, really the qualities of nut in the Quran, because it's different nut, right? As we know.
The kirat, the different kirat.
Yeah, that's exactly it. The qira'at are the different ways of doing nut of the Quran. Because one Quran, but the one Quran admits different styles of recitation. Well, bil qira'at, with these different styles of recitation, what's he saying? Yatarajjahu. You know what that means?
No.
Tarjih. Have you heard of that word?
Preference?
Yeah. Tarjih is to give preference. Rajjaha shay'an, to make it rajih. Tarajjaha is to become like in preference. Yatarajjahu ba'd al-wujuhi. So some aspects, wujuh, like ways. Al-muhtamalati. Remember, ihtamala was to carry like a meaning. So this is al-muhtamalati. So some meanings تترجح على بعض. Right.
So, sir, what does this mean?
Over others?
So what's he saying here is that usually there's going to be different possible interpretations, right? محتملة وجوه محتملة. There's different possible interpretations. Sometimes one qira'ah gives priority to one interpretation over others.
Okay.
I'm thinking an example.
Like Malik over Malik.
Yeah, that's a good example over there.
Or
yeah.
Malik.
And there's different meanings for that. So you might say, what's the meaning of Malik? Then you can use a different qira'at to give different meaning.
Okay.
So one can recite according to his or her kafiyah, right? As it was written before line. Kayfiyah not bil Quran, right?
Yeah, the kayfiyah is of the Quran, different qualities of the Quran, or of the qira'ah. Yeah. The nutq of the Quran has different kayfiyats, different styles. That's what's going on here. And each style has different meanings. So we need to know all, just like with language, we need to know all the meanings of words. So we need to know all the meanings, the different styles of the Quran, so to know all the possible meanings.
Yeah.
You want to maybe take one or two more? التاسع.
التاسع أصول الدين, the principles of religion. بما في القرآن من الآيات من الآيات الدالة بظاهرها على ما لا يجوز على الله تعالى، فالأصولي يؤول ذلك ويستدل على ما يستحيل وما يجب وما يجوز.
Yeah, so Usul al-Din is basically kalam, if you heard of that. Theology.
Oh, okay.
That's what he means here. So why does the Mufassir need to know theology? بما في القرآن من الآيات الدالة بظاهرها على I think I'll translate this, sorry, for lack of time, so you can finish this off. Saying that the Quran will, this dalat, right? The verses will indicate some things. From a literal perspective, like we said, Ar-Rahman istawa ala al-arsh. We might say that this means sitting, like physical sitting. Now, from the science of theology, we know that can't be the case. That's not the meaning. Because in Kalam we understand the divine attributes, that God is non-corporeal, he's not a physical body. So we can't interpret the Quran physically, or we can't interpret God in the Quran physically. So again, this is about interpretation, knowing the meanings of words. We need to know these sciences to know that. What we can say, what we cannot say. You'll read Al-Ashir.
العشر أصول الفقه إذ به يعرف وجه الاستدلال على الأحكام والاستنباط.
Yeah. Usul al-fiqh, as we said. So all of these usul things are coming together. Usul al-tafsir, usul al-deen, usul al-fiqh. Really, these all together form the usul of all the ulum of Islam. Usul al-fiqh, what's that about? That's about how does the Quran, how do we do istidlal, right? Nastadillu bi shay'in ala shay'in. How do we derive ahkam? Istinbat again means to derive ahkam from the Quran. That's what Usul al-Fiqh is studying. As for these, does anyone want to read the next four?
I can.
That's right. Yeah.
Al-Hadi Ashar, Asbab al-Nuzul wal-Qasas is bisabab bil-Nuzul ya'rifu ma'anil ayatil munzil fihi bihasbi ma unzilat fihi. Reasons?
Asbab al-Nuzul, the reasons for revelation, that science. Because bisabab al-Nuzul yu'rifu ma'na al-ayat. You might know the meaning of the ayah with this science of revelation. I think that's clear. Then
Okay.
you want to read these next two.
Al-Nasik wal-Mansukh liya'mal muhkam min ghayrihi.
Yeah, you see, this comes back to the muhkam. Like we said, we begin with the muhkam to understand the mutashabih. So knowing the nasikh and the mansukh helps us to know which ayat are the muhkamat. And
Okay.
الثالثة عشر
Al-Fiqh.
Yeah, we need to know fiqh, of course.
Al-Rabi Ashar, ala hadisil mabinat
المبينة.
أو مبينة لتفسير المجمل والمبهم.
Yeah. So now this came back to the idea of the mujmal and the mubham. Some things are vague because they're packed together. Then bayina, it's so beautiful. Muf'al, one thing. Muf'al, like many things. That's al-hadith. Some hadith are mubayyina. They do this tafsir, tabyin of this mubham and mujmal. So we need to know there's a hadith, so to know the meanings. Like we said, aqimu salat, the sunnah then does tafsir, tabyin of how to do iqamatu salat. And now this last one is the most important one, and with this we can conclude the class. Who'd like to read this last one out? Al-Khamisa Ashara.
That's right.
I can go.
Sister Atka, you can go ahead.
Now the kids are making too much noise. Please go ahead.
Okay. Al-Khamis Ashar, the 15th. Ilm al-Mawhiba. I don't know what is Mawhiba.
From Mubham?
Yeah, mubham, the knowledge that of something that are unclear, basically knowing of the specific ayah that are unclear.
So this is from Wahaba, not from Bahama. Wahaba, what does Wahaba mean again?
Wahaba, to give.
To give without any expectation of return. Allah is Al-Wahhab. He just gives from His mercy. Ilmul Mawhiba. This is a gift, a knowledge and ilm which Allah gives as a gift. We can't earn this. There's nothing we can do to get this. He just chooses some people to give this ilm to. And what is it? وَهُوَ عِلْمٌ
وَهُوَ عِلْمٌ يُورَثَهُ اللَّهُ تَعَالَى لِمَنْ عَمِلَ بِمَا عَلِمَ. So this is the gift that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gives him as a gift to who works hard and learned from it.
Yeah, amila bima alima. He does amal upon his ilm.
Yes. وإليه الإشارة بحديث, and there is an indication in the hadith, من عمل بما علم ورثه الله العلم بما لم يعلم.
Yes.
So who works according to the knowledge, Allah gives him the knowledge that he doesn't know or he's not aware of.
Yeah. And this is the pinnacle. This is really what seals the usul al-tafsir. We can have all of these things, our knowledge of the Arabic language, which we need to have. We need to master the Arabic language. We saw that means. It's all about nahu, sarf, ma'ani, badi', bayan, balagha, ishtiqaq. Then the sciences of usul al-fiqh, usul al-din, all these sciences of Islam. But ultimately, even if you have all these things, that doesn't make you a mufassir, because the tafsir comes from divine knowledge, it's divine illumination. Ultimately, Allah opens the heart to the Quran. And that's a pure divine gift. But we can get closer to that divine gift by doing amal, good works upon our ilm. So we learn something, then we have to put it into practice. Then when we put that into practice, Allah will give us more knowledge which we didn't know. And that's how it is. We keep doing amal of our ilm. That's our life in the dunya. The more we do amal upon our ilm, the more ilm we get. And we know
And
that
again, that word is there, warrasa, from fa'ala family, like you described, like it's step by step process.
Thank you, mashallah, yeah. It's beautiful. Warrathahu Allah. It's not just awratha all at once. It keeps allama fawarratha. We keep doing this amal, then we keep getting the ilm. Then tadarruj, ta'allum, we keep going to ilm in layers, higher and higher.
Actually, this is Allah's love for us, that He doesn't want us to get sort of, diverted or anything. So He gives us the knowledge little by little.
Depends on how we, ponder upon it.
We might get deviated later on.
This is so beautiful.
It is beautiful.
Yeah.
Yes, true.
SubhanAllah. So I'll stop sharing this. As for the Usul al-Tafsir course, the crash course, I think we've completed that. Inshallah, we've seen how the Tafsir works. Tafsir al-Quran bil-Quran. We've seen how the Sunnah is the commentary of the Quran. And really, we saw how it all comes together. The Arabic language is the key to all of this. The Arabic, that's the usul. We learn these sciences. Then ultimately, to do tafsir, to gain access to the means of the Quran, it's all just doing amal, doing good works and good actions, and Allah will, inshallah, give us the knowledge of this, make us to inherit the knowledge, inshallah. So I find it really beautiful.
Can we add studying the Arabic language as part of the amal? That's a means to, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
That's the first step, basically.
That's the first step. Yeah. I think we had a beautiful ending with the last paragraph.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly. Yes. It was just off both of the lectures.
Yeah. And it answers a lot of the questions, like how do you get to this thing? But it's telling you at the end, keep doing it.
Basically, it's a journey.
Yep.
It is.
And in our religion, basically, it's not about the destination, but it's about the stages. Okay, it's about the stages, the daily struggle.
Yeah.
Yeah, more struggle with Arabic, right? Just keep doing it.
With everything, even when you are standing for namaz, even when you are doing a good thing that other people are not doing, you are having a struggle. You are doing your best. So it's not about reaching a final destination. It's about the journey, and upon that you will be. Your Lord sees your effort at the end of the day.
Yes,
indeed.
We know that our niyyah defines what our station in the akhirah, inshallah. Like if you had the niyyah to memorize the Quran, if you were sincere in the niyyah and you did your best, even if you didn't memorize the Quran in this life, inshallah, you'll be resurrected on the day of judgment as a hafidh.
True.
So it's all about the niyyah. We just have high himma. We aim for the stars and we just do the amal upon that. And inshallah, but if you don't get there in the dunya, we'll get there in the akhirah.
I'm quite proud of the sisters in the family because they do have very high himma. You can see they've turned out both the classes on top of their regular classes. You know, they have. Yeah, this is a great environment, really. Alhamdulillah. We try to recreate what the book says, try to recreate what the advice we get from our shuyukhs. Alhamdulillah, very, very well done, everybody. So shall we conclude on this note? Is there anything else? Okay, Ustad Faidan may want to discuss something else quickly. So shall I stop the recording?
Sure, yeah.
Okay.